Welcome to the Blessed to Teach Show. This is your host, Rick. We are talking a false flag in Syria, a big Syria blast. Is that really what happened there? Unfortunately, that's what it looks like. Really suspicious. This is Wednesday, January 16th, late at night, around 9:25 p.m. Central Time. We're broadcasting live on YouTube on the main channel, and we'll get these put into other channels, including Facebook Live, Facebook as well as BitChute. I'm also going to all the podcasts, including SoundCloud and so many others, including YouTube and Gmail, etc. We've got a lot of people coming on. Terry, and I see everyone knows it's Butters. That's me. Wow, long one. So where are you guys from? I see Long Island, New York. I see upstate New York. Wow, cool stuff. Michigan. We got David's back on from New Zealand. Thank you so much. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, Indiana, Tennessee, Michigan. Thank you guys all for joining here. Syria blast has happened just recently. You know they want to keep us in these endless wars. Endless wars. I see people coming from Mississippi and Texas and the Netherlands. Thank you, Josie, from Netherlands, Southern California, UK, Austin, Colorado. Thank you. We're talking a Syria blast that killed 4 Americans. You know that's going to try to tug on and try to give the fake news media and give the all anti-Trumpers the ammunition to try to keep our troops in endless wars. And we'll see. ISIS is taking responsibility for it. We'll get into that right now. And tell you what, it's just really sad, though, when you see this type of stuff going on. Here we go, looking at the actual footage of this. So here's the article that says, suicide bomber kills 4 U.S. citizens, claims responsibility. An explosion in, Manbij, Syria, killed U.S. service members, according to the U.S. military. The Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. Well, you know what that means usually. Just like we funded them, gave them guns, all ISIS. Now we have to do their little. Most people would think that they blame for Assad for doing all of the chemical attacks, and now we see a bomb that literally kills Americans. Right, so that they had to go to extremes to try to keep us there. Hopefully Trump will not fall for that. A suicide bomber triggered a fire explosion Wednesday that killed 4 U.S. citizens at a market in North Syria, less than a month after President Trump declared victory over the Islamic State militants in the region. 2 of the dead were U.S. soldiers, and 2 others were U.S. civilians, military officials said. The Islamic State, also known as ISIS, claimed responsibility for the attack in the town of Manbij. Now you look at this, here's the actual video of the explosion, and you're going to see somebody point at it right here. It's going to start right here. So let's listen to this. Let's watch this, I guess. I'm not even sure if it has much audio. I think it's just an audio of the people watching the video surveillance. This is from a surveillance camera. I'm going to grab my headphones while you guys are doing that. So right when he points, explosions happens right there. You see that? That crazy stuff that goes on in our, killing our boys, if you will, killing our military people, killing our citizens just to keep the cabal's power, in my opinion. Now, obviously, there's not evidence for that yet, but whenever we see these things, we usually know what's going on. So I'm going to play that again. See if I can get this. I might have to just refresh it real quick. And play it again. Here it is. Put the sound on. Right when he points, right here, explosion is going to happen. So you can see that as a vicious explosion. And this has the explosion of the after effects. Here, this video here actually shows, and they're warning of it's graphic content. So you can see here that I'll put some sound on here too. I'm not sure the total number of lives lost, but it was a bad accident. Sad stuff to see what this cabal does. We got to get these criminals out of here. Got to tear them out from the roots. So that goes on for a little bit longer. So I'll put these connections in there, but just to let you know, those are the kind of the two, the Twitter that shows the first footage of the explosion from Syria. And then, the mainstream media is going to be all over this, trying to make Trump look bad for pulling out of the endless wars and bringing our bows home to protect us from the cabal we have here. Now, hey, this is my new sponsor I talked about yesterday. They stopped paying for overpriced insurance. How many of you are tired of paying simply too much for auto, health, or life insurance? Cut your insurance rates substantially and save big with PatriotRates.com. It's an American insurance company that you can trust, owned by veterans. Patriot Rate, this sources competitive pricing on auto, health, and life insurance, and will always have your back when it comes to finding the best quote to find your needs. Now, you visit www.patriots.com, patriotrates.com for a free quote on auto, health, and life insurance, and stop paying for overpriced insurance. So again, visit patriotrates.com, P-A-T-R-I-O-T, rate with an S on the end, .com. And you'll see it's pretty easy. You go through here, you can click on these. They actually partner with Allstate, AAA, Farmers, Metro Mile, and Nationwide. So it's a great way to really look at multiple insurance companies very quickly, depending on all three of these. So go check and get your rates down and save rates from a company owned by veterans that'll have your back. All right, you can see the last last drop, QAnon drop we had was on the 13th. We had 2 drops that were real big and meaty, and I did a whole a video on those 2, including talking about Soros potentially dying. We got a ton of news to go over. Again, the biggest one, the headline here is the Syrian explosion, which I'm convinced is a way to try for the cabal to keep us in these endless wars. They cannot have us drop out. That's what they're going to try to do. Now, here's this White Squall. So Serial Brain 2 said, hey, White Squall's actually got a Twitter account now. Follow him. So he's got this thread now about the Supreme Court justice he did a few days ago. Thought this would be a great thing to drain. It says, number 1, the best choice for RBG vacated seat is Judge Raymond Kethledge of the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. Don't let that smile fool you. It says a 52-year-old judge from Central Casting, just like Neil Gorsuch, is not a well-known as Justice Kavanaugh, but the long-term Michigan resident brings a political upside to the process that several other contenders cannot. Now, I think it's going to be a female. I think it's one of those things that to have a female come off the court and not put one on, I think is going to be tough. So I disagree with White Squall on this, but this is what he's talking about. POTUS wants a second term, which means keeping his most high-profile and decisive campaign promises. During the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump pledged his Supreme Court nominee would be a thoroughgoing originalist in the mold of Justice Antonin Scalia, right? So we've heard him talk about that quite a bit. Number 4, it talks about, so the first question is, has the nominee ruled steadily in a fashion consistent with the original intent of the Constitution and its amendments and faithful to the statutes passed by the executive and legislative branches? For Kethledge, the answer is a resounding yes. So he's given there. He goes. He has stood strongly with a free exercise rights, siding, for example, with a church and its volunteers against the Labor Department's bureaucrats, writing a separate concurrence to emphasize the department should tend to what is Caesar's and leave the rest alone. So you can tell he's probably an awesome believer as well when he's quoting basically Jesus from the Bible. When they were trying to trick him on, should we pay taxes to Caesar? And he said, let Caesar, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's, right? He has an exemplary record of Second Amendment rights, concurring with his colleague Judge Jeffrey Sutton's declaration of the right to bear arms as fundamentalist in the crucial case of amendment, gun control. You have the right to control your guns. And I'm not going to drain all this, but he's basically a big fan of Kethledge and talking about how he might be the next person based on we think Ruth Ginsburg coming out of the court really soon. But again, based upon what Q said, I think it's going to be more of a female. So we'll dig into that. But I just want to show you with the White Squall. Pretty cool that he is on Twitter now. Also, SB2 has a full thing, a full new analysis and a decode of the where Trump misspelled hamburgers and put hamburgers, right? Did you remember seeing that? So we were talking about it not last night, where you'll see right here he actually bought them a bunch of hamburgers, but he misspelled it, 1,000 hamburgers. So we will know this means something completely different. I'm going to go over this in more detail tomorrow because I have a lot of material to go over and didn't want to go way over time here. So we'll look at the serial brain thing tomorrow night. Let's see. Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch says a federal judge ruled that discovery can begin in Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Obama official and Clinton aides, including Susan Rice, Ben Rhodes, Jacob Sullivan, and FBI officials, E.W. Presap, have to answer the Judicial Watch's questions under oath. So obviously that's just continuing to show that things are happening. And that's kind of I want to talk about this. This is the thread I really want to spend the most time on, because an anon just did a great job, I feel, that we called Red Pill Now, saying new updated list of proofs and prosecutions are happening. And so he basically says, tired of hearing things aren't progressing? That's because we don't keep track of all the information reflected what Huber, Horowitz, and others are doing to take out the deep state right now. This evolving list should put the question to rest and also assist you in red-pilling normies. As this information is evolving, please help me keep it updated with all feedback with supporting links if possible. So bookmark this. Again, you'll get this on blessedtoteach.com, and the 2 is a actual number 2, blessedtoteach.com, and I'll have show notes there. Obviously, sign up for my email list. You'll get a link to it every day. Every time I do a show. So I think you'll enjoy those. But this is awesome because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, things that are really going on now. And he's also got these secondary proofs such as the Gitmo expansion, POTUS changes, UCMJ, sealed indictments, right? And this really needs to be corrected. This is sealed court documents. Many of these are not indictments. There's still a ton of indictments, and some indictments can have multiple people on them. So I'm not underestimating that there's tons and tons of sealed indictments. I just think we should talk with more proper language, right? It's sealed court documents, of which many are sealed indictments. Mass resignations, right? So I'm going to go over all seven of these because I think it's worth it, right? So the first thing he talks about is General Flynn's testimony. So Q told us Flynn knows where the bodies are buried and confessed to something he did not do in order to dump all that information into evidence, which automatically becomes subject for disclosure by patriot prosecutors like Huber and Horowitz. Brilliant. I put this first because Lieutenant General Flynn's previous testimony is the universal key to all other prosecutorial vectors. And then he actually puts an article to kind of explain each one of these. This one's the Hill, where Schiff calls for Flynn to testify before the House Intelligence Committee. I'm not going to go to the details of that because we've talked quite a bit about that. But this is a real key part of everything that's going on. It's just the fact that we have, hey, get back to my article. It's the Hill's hogging my internet connection, and they're not going to let me get back to my that's really going to make me mad. So now I'm going to have to go find that again because the Hill's not letting me come back to it. The region Trump, so that really frustrating. Just let me get to that real quick, see if I can find it. So this is my Twitter, and that was actually on vote. So if you go to the way I do this, guys, so this will give you a good lesson for you guys to show you one of the ways I actually find all my articles when I line them up for you. I go right to here, vote.co. This is the one that consolidates the Great Awakening and the calm before the storm. Oh no, this is the QRV. You can't quite see it over here. I'm going to pull this over. So yeah, the QRV. And then it'll be one of the top ones, hopefully. Syria false flag bombing, we're talking about. Attacks on Trump. Ginsburg cancels. GameStop. GameStop has some good stuff come up. We'll talk about in a second. He's going to do this, talking about the State of the Union address coming up. Talking about Pelosi. The DOJ reports reveals. Oh, I know what it is. I just remembered it's actually on the other thread. So the other thread is the one that actually consolidates everything. It consolidates two of the major threads. Hey, Roger Sloan, thank you. Checking in from South Carolina. Thank you, Roger Sloan. And yeah, I remember it was here. Attacks on Trump's tweets. Twitter advises. Here's the breaking FBI foils. Check out what's on the Anon posted today. The reason Trump tweeted hamburgers. Ginsburg cancels late January appearance. Yellow vest movement. GameStop. New MD list of proofs. Here it is. So this is the one. I'm not going to click on any Hill articles because it won't let me go back. But you can see that's the fake dossier, Fusion GPS investigation, etc. that we talked about. The updated list of proofs that prosecutions are happening. Hey, it's good that we refreshed this because it actually gave a new one that's starting now with the fake dossier, Fusion GPS investigation as the primary evidence. See how many he has here now. So this has been updated since I saw it. Yeah, it's got 13 versus 11 now. So he's obviously doing this as we speak. And we already reviewed these secondary evidence. This was Gitmo expansion, POTUS changes, UCMG, sealed indictments, mass resignations, right? Okay, so let's go over all 13 of these without clicking on the article. The fake dossier, Fusion GPS investigation. It's been wrapped up in the House and is moving to the Senate. Rumor has it Peter Strzok, Yates, Rice, and McCabe are already being tried in Gitmo as of 1/2/19, but that's unverified. Regardless, it's a real investigation. Rest assured of that. And I'll copy this just in case it doesn't let me come back to it, but because I do want to see. And then he's got this archive showing political House Republicans closed their investigation into 2016 candidates probes. And good, let me come back on that one. The Benghazi cover-up investigation. This just in. Benghazi is now also being reinvestigated. Some theories put a server full of nuke technology in Stevens' possession. Ambassador Stevens talking about, which was destined for Iran when ex-SOCOM contractors intervened and rescued it, bringing it back with them to the CIA annex. Regardless, there is now a team of prosecutors on it. So this is pretty huge, and the Gateway Pundit has an article on this that was January 15th, today, just a few days ago, right? Today is the 16th, so this was yesterday. Just in, federal court orders discovery to begin on Clinton email scandal. Susan Rice and Ben Rhodes must respond under oath. And I think if you get this down later, you're going to see some Benghazi stuff in here too. Benghazi. Now that link, he gave us more of a link on them opening up the email investigations, which obviously had a bunch of Benghazi stuff in there as well. And so that was the second thing is Benghazi. And then the third thing is the Clinton Foundation investigation. We know a DOJ FBI chartered 757 was loaded with boxes from the Clinton Foundation marked as evidence over the summer in 2018. On 12/13/2018, the House Congressional Subcommittee held hearings that revealed $2.5 billion was transferred by foreign entities to the Clinton Foundation, was misreported to the IRS, and the Clintons used Clinton Foundation money for their personal use. And so there's several articles here and some videos that will actually verify the whole Clinton Foundation thing. And I think you know that that third party doing the actual investigation was quite exciting as well. So let's look at some of this. This is the conservative treehouse talking about it, saying, what a mess. The congressional hearing with Clinton Foundation investigators. And this talks about when these guys got up, and I know it was a little bit contentious, but in general, it was devastating on the Clinton Foundation if you actually watch and read between the lines. Obviously, the mainstream media reported on it totally differently. But so this confirms Huber Horowitz are pursuing this vector as it comes on the heels of 3 Clinton Foundation whistleblowers who are also now primed to testify. This amazing video. So here's a whole video about that testimony and summarizing it. If you want to go look at that. And then another video as well here, and another. So he's got 3 videos talking about these 3 Clinton Foundation whistleblowers in their testimony. So the 4th major thing he's talking about is the Uranium One and pay-for-play investigations. There's a grand jury impaneled by Horowitz just for the Uranium One deal. Each pay-for-play event will get its own grand jury and was revealed in D.C. hearings on December of 2018 and will include Isikoff, Steele, etc. testimonies. And here's the whole thing on C-SPAN about it, and a 757-page story, the 757 that landed story. So again, you go look at the whole C-SPAN story as verification that of that, and we're on 4 right now. And then also this 757 JetBlue landing in Arkansas and picking up all that evidence from the Clinton Foundation is another awesome verification of what's going on with number 4 here. Uranium One and the pay-for-play investigations. 5, the HRC server investigation. This is interesting. This is Q said, we have the servers. We know the Clintons once lost emails and much more are in Patriot hands and will reappear at the predetermined time. The hold proof of all crimes and all the deep state players who took part. Here's even an NBC article about the FBI doing emails related to Clinton case found in Anthony Weiner's investigation. So just the fact that we have NBC News and all these even talking about this is in the wellness check on. Somebody's asking me about my thoughts on the wellness check of RBG. It'd be interesting because everybody's saying we need to have it because is she really alive or not? And so I haven't dug into the details of that today since I've just flew in from New York City where I was the last 2 nights. Did not do a video last night, but everything I saw, the last I saw on RBG was that she didn't show up and she canceled her and they're canceled her actual showing that she was supposed to have, I think on the 29th. That was announced in December. And so now that she said she can't fly, etc., people are starting to demand, hey, is she alive? You'll see an article on that I'll have here in just a second. That's the HRC server investigation. The 6th major thing is the FISA abuse investigation. Q said FISA will lead the way and it will play a major role in the criminal roll-ups. We'll bring that in the house is what Q's talking about, right? Remember, compromised Justice Roberts is the one who appoints FISA judges. And you've seen a political article here about House Republicans, Justice Department, FBI, Clinton, Trump probe. So again, these are getting these verifications of what he's talking about here. So I think this is great red pill information like we're talking about. So bookmark this puppy. The Clintons' criminal email investigation. I'm sorry, I missed this one. Skip this one. Don't want to miss the Imran Awan server investigation. Let's not forget about the Imran Awan and his data collection on mostly Democrat congressional members. It's our understanding he took a plea and it's being held in reserve to testify at the appropriate time. Here's a Heavy.com article. Imran Awan arrested. 5 facts you need to know. Let's see if those are easy to look at. Imran Awan was arrested while trying to leave the country, and his wife is already in Pakistan with their daughters, according to court documents. See if these are easy to scan here. 2nd, officials were investigating Awan and several relatives for an alleged procurement scam. 3, Wasserman Schultz kept Awan as an advisor even after others let him go. 4, Representative Meeks was concerned the accusations were too easy to make since the staffers are Muslim Americans. 5. From 2004 to early 2017, Awan made nearly $2 million working for the House Democrats. Okay, interesting stuff. So the whole Awan brothers is going to be a big one. That is what they've labeled as number 7. 8. The Clinton criminal email investigation. The fake investigations into HRC's emails by Comey and Strzok were the nexus of the Obama-Brennan deep state criminal cover-up. With the prosecution phase beginning, this scandal alone will expose the attempt by Obama, FBI, DOJ to cover crimes so heinous that no American will be able to defend it. See the public testimonies of Lynch, Comey, Strzok, Page, etc. for confirmation and the following links. So it's a political article on House Republicans, Justice Departments, and FBI, and the Clinton-Trump probe. And here's an NBC News article about the Clinton email thing coming back alive. And here's a Gateway pundit, just in federal court orders discovery. We saw that one in an earlier link as well. The 9th major thing, the NXIVM cult and human pedo-trafficking investigations. Have you seen the record arrest of human traffickers and pedos under Trump over the last 2 years? The NXIVM was key to unveiling the larger networks. We already know Allison Mack and others, Keith Reiner was the other one, took a plea and will link those rings to clients at the very top. And we suspect leader Keith Rainier will do the same. And here's a article about the trial date on the NXIVM trafficking case coming up right here. And there's another article they have as well. Again, these are back in October, but still shows you that things are happening. Eric Thomas, nice to see you. Thanks for that. And so that is the whole NXIVM cult. And there's another article here on QMAP.pub. There's pointing to this kids, all these arrests that are coming from human trafficking. Right, that's on QMAP.pub. Again, there'll be links in this that you'll find all these links to get to all this stuff in blessedtoteach.com in the show notes that I'll do after each episode. The reopening of the 9/11 investigation. The U.S. Attorney's Office has paneled a grand jury to reopen the investigation into the 9/11 to specifically look at evidence brought by over 3,000 leading engineers and demolition specialists. POTUS himself has expressed doubts as to the original FEMA report. And here's a YouTube on that actual reopening of that. The Weiner Aberdeen laptop investigation. If that device has on it the now infamous HRC insurance policy folder NYPD sex crimes detectives found when they executed their 2016 warrant, then rest assured it is not sitting in some evidence locker in New York City. Human knew the Clinton body count was real and tried to create a safety net by documenting most of HRC's crimes. And here's a Zero Hedge article about the 650,000 emails found on his laptop. 12. AG Sessions 27 separate leak investigations. Q always said trust Sessions. Well, do you think Whitaker may be following up on these? So again, here's a Fox News article about 27 different leak operations. So when the media was trying to make Trump look bad earlier, saying look at how in chaos he is, and there's all these new reports coming out about bad things. Well, they were leaking incorrect information to different small sources and different information with a different piece of information to this source and another one to this source with a little bit different piece of information. And whatever hit the mainstream media, you knew where the leak was based upon the incorrect information that was given out. And it was a beautiful way to entrap all these leakers. And I think we're going to find out, and history is going to go down. This man is a hero. Jeff Sessions is going to go down a hero as a tactical person to take down much of the deep state and all the media leakers as well. So this is going to be, I think, a big finding that's going to be fun as all this comes together. Again, justice takes time, but all these things are in progress, as you can see. Then they moved the General Flynn's testimony all the way to the bottom. General Flynn's testimony is the key. Q told us Flynn knows where the bodies are buried and confessed to something that he did not do, in order to dump all that information into evidence, which automatically becomes subjected for disclosure by patriot prosecutors like Huber and Horowitz. Brilliant. I put this first, which he's moved it down to number 13. Lieutenant Flynn's previous testimony is the universal key to all other prosecutorial vectors. So awesome to see that he's still updating this. This is Red Pill now, doing an awesome job. Kudos to him, pulling together all the stuff showing. So when somebody says nothing's happening, I'm just going to copy this link into my little notes, and every time one of you comment in my videos, nothing's happening, I'm just going to send you this little link. It's going to be awesome. Eric Thomas, thank you so much for a super chat. Now look at this. Here is a Hill article, I believe it is. If it's going to, Hill's not being nice to me at all. Yeah, this is what the one that caught me and wouldn't let me go back. Schiff calls on Flynn to testify before House Intelligence Committee. So that's going to be interesting fireworks when you get Mr. Adam Schiff in there. In the Matrix, he is being attacked really heavy by 8chan. I believe it's 8chan chill CIA type operators in there. They've already doxed him. Sad stuff for in the Matrix. But that means he is over the target. He has been doing awesome work on the Pacers. As you know, he's got threads all over. He was on my show a couple weeks ago with Shady Grove. Just want to let you know that he's being attacked. If you are a praying person, would appreciate your prayers to cover all of us people trying to do what's right. Here is in the Matrix Twitter account. There's a couple things that I thought were just awesome on here. He had and if you look at this right here, here he is on Q2646. Follow the watch equals judicial watch. Breaking: a federal judge ruled that discovery can begin in Hillary Clinton's email scandal. So I thought it was an interesting thing, because we always thought follow the watch was like where the pin was and where it was pointing and all that, and maybe the clock, right? But could follow the watch be judicial watch, because they're doing so much, they're using them so much, and I showed you that article. And there was a whole thread that he did with War Drummer. I'm not going to go over the whole thread, but there were some interesting things here I wanted to kind of review with you on this thread, which he called let's see where it says the echo chamber. There it is. I was looking for that word. Define echo chamber: a metaphorical description of the situation in which beliefs are amplified or reinforced by communication and reputation inside the closed system prior to new platform networks connectivity people. Just realized what one of my problems is of not being able to see very well is I was almost out of battery, so I turned my brightness way down. So boy, now I can see really well. The brightness is back up. All right. So this is again in the Matrix on his thread about the echo chamber. And what was really interesting, later you'll see Sean Hannity did a whole thing on the echo chamber. So he may have got that from in the Matrix. We'll see. First, let's take a look at the Patriots, Patriots, that tried to hijack and usurp the Q movement. So remember when all this happened with Corsi and Alex Jones trying to basically kill it, and then Lady Jack Posobiec has also been trying to take it down, trying to take Q down. Ask yourself a simple logical question. Why are the majority of Q attacks by pro-MAGA supporters? And remember that? So we have here where Jack Posobiec tried to actually take Q down. They've got to be regretting it now, because the following is just growing and growing and growing. That's all that's happening, right? They attempted to infiltrate, repackage, and rebrand as their own profit vehicle, destroy through misinformation, absorb the confused. That was 1343 if you want to go look at the details of that. Alex Jones and Jerome Corsi have 100% tried to usurp the QAnon movement by saying he was talked to QAnon, but infiltrating Discord and YouTube channels with wanting to fire sessions, etc. Right? Everything that Q tells, opposite of what Q's telling us. Q's telling us to trust sessions. They're doing the opposite. Control and divide. What happens if Mueller proves Free Speech Systems LLC, which owns Infowars, aka Infowars, is linked to the Foreign Intelligence Agency or other non-domestic entity who is pulling the strings for Free Speech Systems LLC. So I know some of you that listen to me right now probably are still Alex Jones fans, but Q's told us pretty much that it's a shill operation. It's a controlled operation. And people say, how can that possibly be? The deep state hates him. He talks bad about the deep state. And every time I do that, I go, guys, just go to Google and search on Vladimir Lenin, Lenin, and say quotes. And if you just do that, probably the number one thing you're going to get up is when it's talking about controlled. You might have to put the word controlled in there. I'm sure I can find it if I scrolled. Controlled. And you look, and it's really interesting to see what they say on controlled opposition. And there it is. The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. So this is a very sophisticated cabal with roots everywhere. And their roots go into Infowars. It's just a fact, guys. I'm sorry. And the way I'll show you why I know that in a second. But I want you to understand that there's many people that seem to be MAGA supporters, that seem to be trying to take the deep state, but instead the deep state is controlling the opposition by leading it itself, just like Lenin did in the Soviet Union. The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. So that's an important thing to understand if you're really going to be red-pilled. I talk about people that don't understand controlled opposition aren't fully red-pilled. They may think they're red-pilled, but they're not. Does that make sense? This is a sophisticated enemy we're dealing with. More on Corsi, no pun intended. Corsi is in court today, but not in the news today, 12/27/18. So you can see this whole thing about the free speech limited, and he actually showed us all kinds of things about Corsi being linked to the Rothschilds, etc. And so I'm not going to go into the details of that, but suffice it to say that we have a very sophisticated enemy that we got to be careful of. So that jumped on me, but I'll quickly get to where I was. There it is. So you see, here's some more details. Then we have research boards. CIA trying to impersonate Q. And so QN told us in 1013. Twitter, clowns, Operation Q, T2810C, false drops, got push. Future conspiracy, push to norms. Bad mixed with good. Taint, they are scared. Q. So clearly showing they're trying to confuse. And that's when... and you'll see a video. I'll show you where you can find a video. Clearly, where I saw Jerome Corsi and Alex Jones lying to me about what I know is true. Okay, and that is that they're saying that Q's been taken over, been compromised, and Q completely proves that wrong. So they were lying through their teeth. Very well made vid by Brilliant Anon illustrating the issues on the chance. CIA versus Q and Anons. So here's a video that you can go look. I think I have it right here. So there's several people. This person is Bruce Figurett's White Rabbit Network is what he calls it. He's got like 28,000 followers. He's got a 44-minute video, really going over all the details. You'll see if you've been following Q, and you'll see Alex Jones claiming that Zach is Q, that he's talked to Q, that Q's been compromised, and Corsi says the same thing, and and so they both are and this was back in May. You can see. So this was the April-May time frame when they were shown to be controlled opposition. Okay, and that's a real important video. You can go see. You can get it from the link on the Blessed to Teach channel. I'll have it there, as well as within the In the Matrix Twitter link here as well. Are the clowns in America on the Chan boards perhaps telling us what to think? Let's see what Q says. So remember, he coded this. If you look down here, and it says, and he coded this big long message, but it says CIA is here. So very clearly telling us he's here. And also say sinful. All right, so the sinful CIA is here. Q 2032, define echo chamber. And we just read that earlier. A metaphorical description of a situation in which the beliefs are amplified or reinforced by communication and repetition inside a closed system prior to new platforms, networks connecting people. Q 1862, direct communications is critical. And you'll see here the whole link about all those. You can go look in detail if you would like to understand more about exactly what Q was talking about. Does this give rise to we are the majority mindset? Define echo chamber. And he actually defines it there, right? So that's Q actually going through these various reasons why the mainstream media has this big echo chamber, and how are we going to get out of it, right? And then we got the controlled opposition coming in, and people that are fake MAGA people, or they're MAGA people that are jealous of Q, right? Who knows? But they're attacking Q hard. Now let's look at Q 1366. I don't think it would be fair to say that a journalist can't make money when covering Q, but that's the difference. A journalist covering Q isn't necessarily usurping Q. The patriots in question, patriots, were trying to usurp Q, and that's exactly right, and that's why he called them out on it. And they called themselves out by basically getting offended about it, and they were the ones that were crying the most, clearly showing that Q was pointing to them. And then later he directly pointed to Corsi, right? Now, and this is the video that I just showed you, the White Rabbit video. Awesome video that really get into the details of exactly what happened. Q asked to be loud and be proud and be heard. How can we do this if you can't buy a t-shirt or a sticker, etc.? Let me tell you, folks, nobody's getting rich off the backs of patriots selling shirts. Or I'd laugh about how they attacked the Q app, that little app that I have on my phone, which I love because every time I'm the first one of the first ones to ever know that Q posted, because boom, it comes right on my phone with a notification right when he posts, and people are complaining because they're making 99 cents on that. It's like whatever. So everybody's attacking anything to do with Q, right? But obviously Q told us to be loud, right, and be proud, be heard, and he goes on to say, if we aren't a threat or real or simply just a conspiracy theory, why the constant heavy attacks? And so information warfare, IW, destroy the controlled narrative. Power belongs to the people. Where we go one, we go all. And got the Q plus and triple parentheses, and then you got Q. And here's a whole video. You see Flynn talking about an army of digital soldiers, right? So when and if the echo chamber go away, we will be ready. That is the goal. Destroy the controlled narrative. Power belongs with the people. So right now it's frustrating to me to see after over a year of this now, we still have the mainstream media with a hold on so many people, right? But eventually that hold's going to come off. That's this whole plan. Support if you wish. All info is free always. And so this is his link to here. And then eventually, I was going to show you the Sean Hannity actually linked to his stuff. It was pretty awesome. And so he goes on for more detail and here's I wanted to show you this, the Sean Hannity, where he says the echo chamber, right? And that's the echo chamber of this false news media doing the same things. It's exactly right. All right. That is the White Rabbit video you can go see on Alex Jones and Corsi lying. We talked about this. Ginsburg cancels late January appearance as skeptics demand proof of life. So here she is. You can see an evening with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is canceled. This justice regrets that she is unable to visit the skirt ball on 1/29. She is curtailing travel and focusing on her work while recuperating from recent surgery. Thank you for your understanding. So it's just really wild that she's missed all the hearings for this month, and now she's canceled the 29th, and that's just kind of the funny meme right here. And for those of you who've seen the weekends at Grandpa's or whatever, weekend at Ginsburg's, right, where they're bringing around the guy that's actually dead and trying to act like he's alive, and here you've got Chucky and Nancy doing that with RBG. So interesting how that's all going to turn out, but I think by the end of January we'll see finally them admit it, or they're coming out, they're waiting, just like maybe with George W. Bush, the right time to reveal it, right? I don't know about you, but to me this too sounds like a Dear Diary entry. And this is Nancy Pelosi saying, today I wrote the real Donald Trump recommending that we delay the State of the Union until after government reopens. As a Secret Service, the lead federal agency for this, the State of the Union security, faces its 6th day without funding. Well, Dan Bongino was laughing at this. He knows all the secret security people. He used to work there. There's no risk they'll all be working, etc. So Nancy's just doesn't want Trump. He's so effective in front of everybody. She does not want them to be there, and they just got killed when they were all looking all grumpy, and last year and the year before, they looked like fools. So it'll be real interesting. Pelosi wants it done while most of us are at work. What a surprise. So here somebody's saying State of the Union will be done in the afternoon. So instead of having the prime time State of the Union address, Nancy's trying to force it. So President Lyndon Johnson was the first to deliver prime time address in 1965. Keep in mind, this is Pelosi's call. The president doesn't have to do this, so it goes into it in a little more detail. But the point is that they really... It's her invite, right? The person, he doesn't have to do it in person, etc. So we'll see what happens here. But there's a big game being played where Nancy and the Democrats are just going to fight them every step of the way to try to, she's obviously, I can't believe how much of a deep state operator she is. It's just crazy to see that she's not about doing anything for the American people. She's about, how do I serve my masters, the cabal? How do I serve my masters, this deep state criminals, to try to take down Trump? That's all Nancy's doing. Oh wow, it's been crazy to look at. Don Jr. Pelosi terrified to let American people hear Trump unfiltered. So Don Jr. saying she's terrified. They don't want to have a State of the Union address where you put Donald J. Trump out there directly to the American people. Going to make them look like a fool about the wall. Going to make them look like a fool for a ton of different things. And so you can see Nancy's letter there, etc., if you want to get into the more detail there. Here we have another tweet. This one says, the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Secret Services are fully prepared to support and secure the State of the Union. We thank the service for their mission, focus, and dedication, and for all they do each day to secure our homeland. So here's Nancy trying to say, we got to cancel it. We got to push it later. You can do it in writing. Don't do it during night at prime time. Oh, we need to cancel because of the Secret Service. She's doing everything she can to try to keep the unfiltered Trump from being live. One of my other favorite persons on Twitter is Lady Canuck from Canada. She does an awesome job bringing us little things from Anons. Here's Anon today wrote this: U.S. courts ran out of funding on January 18th. According to previous research, individuals can be tried in a military court if the civil courts are closed for 3 days. So there's a little link here for that analysis, and then it says this would mean that military tribunals could start on January 21st, 2019, which coincides with the lunar blood moon. And that's crazy. So there's a lot of people talking about this lunar blood moon and this 18th and 3 more days, that January 21st being a big day where maybe military tribunals could be justified, even what would normally have to be civil courts. We've studied all the reasons why they can actually do military tribunals, right? But now Now we're seeing that there might even be, the shutdown might have a lot of teeth to it. Not only what people are talking about, the Trump trap, where he can actually fire a lot of those employees, especially the low performing employees, which a lot of them are in there as part of the resistance, right? But also it looks like it may be some support for military tribunals going forward. Here's Lisa Crowley saying, I'm just waiting for @real Donald Trump to tweet how much he spent on all that fast food. He already made one point of letting us know it was his own money. While Hussein spent $65,000 in taxpayer funds to fly in all those hot dogs and pizza. Do you remember that? It's just crazy when you think about it. But yeah, he did. He spent $65,000, what was marked down as hot dogs and pizza. Now, those of you who know the code words, that is scary stuff to think about. To think that what that really was. And I think we'll find out in the next year or so, hopefully. It's not going to be as fast as people want. I know. Trump's shutdown trap. This is the other avenue around this. Has President Trump suckered Democrats and the deep state into a trap that will enable a radical downsizing of the federal bureaucracy in only 5 more days of the already longest government shutdown in history, 25 days and counting as of today. This is the 15th article, so it was actually before now, 26 days. A heretofore obscure threshold will be reached, enabling permanent layoffs of bureaucrats furlonged 30 days or more. Now, there's a lot of analysis going on here, and the budget office has said, no, we're not going to RIF people, do a reduction in force. But we'll see, because the fact is that this gives more power to Trump. So the more this shutdown lasts, every day Trump gets more powerful. It's just the way it is. He's getting more power for military tribunals. He's getting more power to be able to fire employees. And I think he's going to get more power every day on American people waking up and going, why won't they just let him build the wall? I mean, why? And so this man is brilliant. That's all it is. We have a president that we can be so proud of. Here's an American thinker saying, Trump shutdown trap. And it really details this in more detail. A reductionist force is a thoughtful and systematic elimination of positions. For all practical purposes, a government RIF is the same thing as a layoff. Organizations must stick to a predetermined criteria when sorting out what happens to each employee. They communicate with the employees how and why decisions are made. The decision in deciding who stays and who goes, federal agencies must take 4 factors into account. Number 1, their tenure. Number 2, the veteran status. Number 3, total federal, civilian, and military service. 4, performance. There's the one. There's the big one right there. Performance. When all these people see that we saw from Project Veritas clearly resisting everything they could do to destroy the agenda of Trump, their performance is pretty poor, I would guess. But just the fact that they have to look at, so if somebody has a lot of tenure, a lot of veteran status, and a ton of military service, which I'm not sure why they have veteran status versus military, total federal, civilian, and military service. They're adding it together, it looks like. So if you are a veteran that has both federal and civil military and a lot of tenure, you're less likely to be fired unless your performance is really bad. But we could get rid of a lot of these low performers and eliminate a lot of this SES dysfunction and overstaffing, et cetera, of the government and growth of the government. So hopefully this could be big. It says a lot of procedures must be followed and merit performance is the last consideration. But based on the criteria above, employees already furlonged can be laid off, RIFed, once they have been furlonged for 30 days or 22 work days. When agencies furlong employees for more than 30 days or 22 discontinuous work days, they must use RIF procedures. An employee can be terminated or moved into an available position. This seems to be what was referenced in the remarkable essay written by an unidentified senior Trump official published in the Daily Caller, which vouches for the authenticity of the author and explains that it is protecting him from adverse career consequences should the name become known. I strongly recommend reading the whole thing. Thank you, Kathy Recknick. God bless you as well. This seems to be what was referenced in, the purported senior official makes the case that devotion to process eats up most of the time of federal bureaucracies or bureaucrats, and is also used by enemies of President Trump initiatives to stymie the legitimate orders issued by senior officials. So this goes on and it gets more detail about exactly what happens. But bottom line, he gets more power every day this happens. It looks like we're definitely going to be going beyond the 30 days that allows him to go through those 4 criteria and eliminate employees that they probably know who are troublemakers. A brilliant move, brilliant man here, and that's why I love having this sponsor that loves you guys, because they want to continue to do these sponsoring these shows, is the President Trump 2020 Freedom Coin. Let's keep America great, right? And this coin we continue to enjoy, especially as presents for a lot of patriots out there. And you can see, what are you doing there? So you can see pretty cool that this is the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Beautiful silver coin, 0.999 fine silver, can be part of a 401k or an IRA, delivering as promised. This is kind of the combination of pure silver with art, right? So the investment it's obviously going to be more money than if you just went and bought this much silver. So I want to make sure you know that. But it's a limited edition that makes this cool. And it literally lists 4 of his accomplishments on the back of the coin. That's what makes this very unique. A limited edition coin. I know you guys have been buying a lot of them. I bought 7 of them already. My wife's wanting to buy more. I'm trying to hold her off, but she's insisting. There's gold for over $1,900. Gold price has gone up quite a bit, so I think it is now at $1,950 for a gold coin. I'm just putting mine in the silver coins because they're only $35. And if you order more than 3, put blessed in the coupon code, and you will get free shipping. Make sure the coupon code says blessed. Make sure you apply it after you put all 3 of your coins in. 3 or more, you get free shipping. Okay? More Lady Canuck. Look at this article here. This Brextinct front pages on Wednesday after May Brexit vote defeat. So no deal, no hope, no clue, no confidence. Dismay, The Guardian. So she just really is trying to appease her global puppet masters, as well as trying to help the EU through the Brexit process and keep people happy. That is not working. They do not want to compromise. So it's getting pretty ugly out there, right? And so it's going to be real interesting to see if she can survive all this stuff. But if you just go to Lady Connect, by the way, she has awesome stuff on here. And here is the actual video of this vote. Let's listen to this.
Under the order of the House of today, I am now required to put the question. The question is that this House has no confidence in Her Majesty's government. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. No. Division, clear the lobby.
The ayes to the right, 306. The noes to the left, 325.
Bottom line, she survived. So she did survive. So she almost got completely voted out with a no confidence, but she is still in power for now, right? And so where I found a lot of this stuff, some of the latest stuff is Lady Canuck. So if you guys, again, if I miss a day and am traveling like I had to last night, You go to Lady Canuck's Twitter page. Will see awesome articles, be able to keep updated, plus be able to spread the information on your Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, I'd recommend you go get one just to use the enemy platforms against them. you can connect to me, connect to Lady Canuck, right? Connect it in the Matrix, and then re-forward all the stuff we're forwarding along. So it's a great way to wake people up. Democrats just announced they are disbanding the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Terrorism to create a new committee to investigate President Trump. Democrats hate our president so much they would rather put our country in blatant danger than see him succeed. Isn't that wild? Killing a terrorism committee to start one to investigate Trump. We're expecting that. Not like that's a surprise, just shows their colors. And we talked about her counseling her Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Here's the actual article that details a little bit more on this. I already showed you one article that was similar. This one goes through it in a little more detail if you want to look at the Gateway Pundit's take on that. Here is another Lady Connect thing. Said a witness at the U.S. trial of Joaquin El Chapo. So El Chapo Guzman, right, has testified that he told U.S. authorities the accused Mexican drug lord once paid a $100 million bribe to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. So we already knew he was crooked. So there we have evidence, at least El Chapo saying he gave $100 million to a bribe. Now the guy, I think if I remember right, is worth over 20 billion, if I remember right, maybe 17 billion, I think I heard last. So that's why Cruz is talking about let's take that money and do things with it. I have a strict carnivore diet for my health, but if President Trump invited me to the White House and offered me a Big Mac paid for out of his own pocket, you better believe I'm going to eat that thing, right? And so there's in an article the Clemson Tigers loved the mill, that it was right up their alley. It was elitist propaganda media that got their knickers in a twist, right? They're all saying, why would he buy him hamburgers, blah, 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 it's not healthy. These socialist communists masquerading as the Democratic Party now proposing higher taxes on the American people and their businesses that communist China does on their own citizens. So that's interesting. I haven't seen much detail around that, and it didn't link to an article. Bongino was quoted, Dan Bongino, who I listen to quite a bit on his podcast, says he always drops breadcrumbs. You just need to know how to pick them up and bake a loaf of bread out of it. So I don't think he reads Q, but that is kind of an indicator that maybe he is starting to think about it. So that's the news I have for you today. I'm going to go get into a prophecy here in a second and some prayer with you guys and some discussion. But join me on blessed2teach.com with the number 2. This is where you'll find my show notes right here. I put a lot of time into these. Like here's my Soros dead ? The theory. Here's the whole show notes. You can see a link to the sponsors as well as tons of everything, and it renders right on the page for a lot of them. So make sure that you take the time to go look at Soros is Dead here, and as one of the show notes. But the easiest way to get these is obviously just at my home page, is just scroll down a little bit and put your email here, so you're on the email list, and you get a link to those show notes after I'm done. Each time I'm done, you'll know exactly when I'm finished. Sometimes I do them at night, sometimes I do them in the following day, right? I'm also on these I guess podcast area that's a lot less bandwidth if you're in the car: SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes. So make sure you look at those if you want lower bandwidth. There's Dr. 32 Full. Have you heard of Bill Still? He made a famous film in the 90s on the Federal Reserve. He's denied Q exists. Is there a way to show him otherwise? Good question. Anybody who doesn't believe Q exists and hasn't seen qproofs.com, that'd be my biggest thing. Anybody that has any question about Q, as far as he's not true, he's a shill, I said, hey, don't believe in disinformation agents. Think for yourself, please. And I sent him qproofs.com. That would be my suggestion, qproofs.com. Hey, I also have a 77 Patreons have joined me on Patreon. So if you're interested in doing that, and also you can join my Blessed Teach chat. So we use the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an app that's very awesome at being able to go cross-platform, whether it's Apple or Windows or a Droid, right? And it's a beautiful way to do group chat. So we're gonna have I'm gonna tap it at 50. I think I have like 32 people in there now. So I'm gonna tap it at 50 if you want to be on that Blessed Teach chat to kind of help me get information and it gets commune with other patriots that are part of this Blessed Teach show. Go ahead and come to Patreon. You can do it for a little as $1 a day. If that's a problem, email me and then we'll see what we can do. If you can't do that dollar, I'm not $1 a day. It's $1 a month. So you can see these tiers: $1 a month all the way up to whatever you guys feel like you can do to help me continue to do this with a bigger percentage of my time, which would be the big goal. Obviously, preparewithrick.com and waterwithrick.com. And just make sure you're prepared for when this all hits the fan, right? It's you need to prepare before things happen, not after. A lot of you have already done this. Please get your 4 to 6 weeks of food per person, right? And again, that would be preparewithrick.com. A great deal on the food, big discounts, $100 off for the 4-week supply. Again, reusable military Mylar pouches. You can get the water filter, which is awesome and needed for the food. If anything's wrong with the water supply, having that water filter would be waterwithrick.com or preparewithrick.com. So here's what I wanted to show you. This was a year ago where Hank Kuhneman actually talks about the shutdown. Let's listen.
At the right time, this time, in the nation, the United States. And so they have said, and it has been reported that your government has been shut down.
That's a year ago.
The Spirit of grace says they forgot something. They cannot shut me down. And so therefore I remind you, United States, that it was declared at the birthing of my son that the government should rest upon his shoulders, and his kingdom, thy kingdom, shall have no end. For this is not just about a government shutdown. There is an agenda, says the Spirit of God, and they want to shut down this administration. They want to shut down my efforts, spirits of darkness, that I am going to and continue to bring forth in this nation, and I will not be stopped. And so they say, and they plot, and they plan. They say we shall shut down the government. But no, they want to shut down more than that.
Yep.
Watch, for they will say, we will boycott, 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 and this shall be their proverb for a season. Then they will say, we will ban this president, this administration from our cities. Certain ones shall say that. They shall speak because they do not understand that you are kicking against my hand and my plan, says God. And they shall raise up more proverbs to seek to remove this one in your White House. God says, I put him there, and no man, no enemy shall take him out. For I have declared, and I say it to you again, my kingdom, my government is coming. My agenda is being established upon this nation. And I have declared to you before, and I say it to you again, that you are in the season of reform. What am I saying?
So he goes into that. You guys can listen to this, and I'll have the link there for you as well if you want to go into listen to the rest of this. But I thought this was amazing that it was a whole year ago. He's talking about a shutdown that actually happened. That's significant, and the fact that they want to shut down more than just the government, right? They're trying to shut down Trump, and it's going to backfire on them in a big way, I believe. So with that, I'm gonna well over an hour, so I'm gonna pray and then bring you on to just have a little quick discussion. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for just giving me so much information. I can't even get through it in an hour because it's so exciting for me to be digging into all this and learning all this stuff. I even had the Serial Brain 2 that I didn't even get to, and pushing that off to tomorrow. Lord, what a blessing it is to have all these Anons working so hard that somebody like me who's working full time can come home from work and eat my dinner and then start digging into the stuff and see the stuff that are just so amazing that can be presented for a fun show to be able to talk about. Lord, I just pray this can be a blessing to those listening, and it's a blessing to me. That's why I have this name, Blessed to Teach, is because it blesses me, because it makes me keep up with it, and I get blessed as I learn it. Lord, thank you for unifying a lot of these Christians together and a lot of the Anons together as we get attacked. Lord, I pray for In the Matrix specifically. Pray for him being doxxed and people telling lies about him right now. Lord, we just pray that we can continue as we tell the truth, be protected by you, Lord. Most of all, protect the children that are being trafficked. Protect Trump and the white hats as they take out this evil. Lord, we just see these things happen in Syria with the most likely a false flag actually designed to keep us in endless wars, to make Trump look bad. Anything they can do for the cabal to have more money and power. Lord, please continue to heal this land and eliminate that here in the United States as well as other parts of the world. And we thank you for what you've done so far and for your continued action here, Lord. We look so forward to joining you in this journey. We say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, there's your Wednesday show. Really appreciate you taking the time. And I wanted to bring you guys over for a little bit. Since we're already, I hate it when these things are too long because people just look at an hour and 15-minute video and often won't even watch it because it's so long. But I enjoyed talking to you guys. Another Face, thank you for your service. Lou, thank you for your service. So we got Tina and R3 Ijo and Sean and Nishanob and Hortons and Pro America and Danny and Carol and Paulette and Margaret and Mama Wafa's whatever that is, off ours, Mom of ours, 57, Yo-Yo, Jessica, Amy, the Six Finger, Dr. Carol. A lot of you guys still on. Thank you so much for being here. Do appreciate it. Terry and Nona and Tim and Deneki and Ann and Danny. Thank you guys for the amens. Please pray for my daughter. She lives in Nairobi. In Monday, a terrorist attack a mile from where she lived. 14 dead. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's a lot of stuff. Thank you, Terry, for that request. So we'll pray for that here in just a second. So I don't know, Terry, what your daughter's name is, and we'll pray for her, though. Terry's daughter. What else do we have here, guys? Thank you for your excellent presentation. Thank you, Perseverance 3. Do appreciate that. Google can find Bible verses. Yeah. But I suggest DuckDuckGo versus Bing or Google, because Bing is Microsoft, globalist, and Google's the worst of the worst, most politically correct search engine you can possibly use. Walkaway says we have more than we know. Exactly right. We do. Welcome, Charlene. So let's pray real quickly for, I think it was Terry's daughter. Heavenly Father, we just pray for all the violence going around in the world, Lord, where you will just expose evil and allow that evil to be exposed and protect the innocent, Lord. Protect those who, especially those who are patriot, who love you. Use them in a mighty way. You'll heal them, protect them. Protect the daughter of Terry. Protect those that are serving around the world, those who are traveling around the world. Allow us to just live the abundant life. Heal our bodies, Lord. Give us wisdom, discernment in these times. Thank you, Lord. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. America first. I agree with that one. That's for sure. God bless you guys. Prayers for Terry's daughter. Yep. Amen. A lot of amens. Thank you so for that. Thank you for another phase for all the mods. So you guys they are awesome, aren't they? I don't know how another phase and Lou do it, but they are here faithfully and almost every night. So you guys might need to nominate somebody else, because I know you're taking the brunt of this and you guys need nights off sometimes too. So let me know if there's another suggested person you want. But this is, we're going to wrap that up now. It's being here so late. Here we are on talking about Syria blast. Is that a false flag? I certainly think it is a globalist attempt to keep us in endless wars. Globalist attempt to make Trump look bad. Globalist attempt to keep us in Syria. Crazy stuff going on. Tons of news here on this Wednesday night, January 16th. This is the Blessed Teach Show. This is Rick, your host. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you next time.